There's some dreams you keep quietly inside your chest. Not because they're big or complicated or life-changing, but because they feel pure, gentle, like a small flame you protect with cupped hands. Mine was simple. I wanted a giant bouquet of red roses, not the gas station kind, not the forgot dash your dash birthday dash on dash the dash way dash home kind. I mean a bouquet big enough to hide behind. The kind that looks like it came straight out of a romantic comedy where the woman opens the door in pajamas and the delivery guy smiles like he knows her destiny is about to change. My grandmother used to get those. My mother cried when my father brought home even the tiniest bouquet. So to me, roses weren't just flowers. They were proof. Proof that someone thought of you. Proof that someone listened. Proof that you mattered. Then I met Rodrigo. If I had to introduce him to a stranger, I'd probably say something polite like he's unique. But if I were being honest, imagine a man who truly believed that putting deodorant on twice a day counted as self-care. A man who thought romance was letting me choose the movie as long as it wasn't a drama or long or had subtitles or made him think. A man who proudly ate instant noodles with an egg on top and called it a signature dish. And yet, one married him. Because I thought love was supposed to be work. Because I believed that someone's potential mattered more than their reality. Because I kept thinking, if I love him enough, maybe he'll love me the way I need. Spoiler, he did not. During dating, I gave him hints about the roses so obvious that a blindfolded toddler would have understood. I paused dramatically in front of every florist shop. I sighed poetically at flower displays in supermarkets. I screenshotted bouquets from Pinterest and sent them saying, "Oh my gosh, look how pretty." Nothing, not a single petal. Our first Valentine's Day as a married couple, I went full Hollywood. Makeup flawless, hair curled, nails done, pretty dress, perfume, candlelit expectations. I was sure the roses were coming. They didn't. Instead, he walked through the door at 8 p.m. holding a pack of Biss chocolates. "Your favorite," he said, like he was presenting me with a diamond necklace. Don't get me wrong, I like Biss. But Biss? On Valentine's Day? I smiled, kissed him, thanked him, then cried in the shower so he wouldn't hear. But hope is stubborn. Mine had 9 lives. Every anniversary, every birthday, every argument patched up, I waited. For years. Then something strange happened. In the 5th year of our marriage, the year I finally gave up, truly gave up, the roses arrived. And in the cruelest twist of fate, it happened on a day so ordinary it felt scripted. A Tuesday. Sunny, warm, boring. I was home wearing my worst pajamas, the ones with a mysterious stain and a hole near the pocket. My hair was tied up with a clip that had already lost half its teeth. I was eating bread straight from the bag because washing a plate felt too ambitious. The doorbell rang. I opened the door and froze. There in the hallway stood a delivery man holding the largest, reddest, most cinematic bouquet of roses I had ever seen in my life. Red velvet petals, satin ribbon, a teddy bear hugging the stems, a golden box of Ferrero Rocher tied like a bow-topped promise. If heaven had a fragrance, it would have smelled like that bouquet. "For you," he said. "For me." The words. I almost kissed that poor man. I brought the bouquet inside with both hands like it was fragile, holy, precious. My heart was doing the samba. My hands shook. My eyes stung. He did it. He finally did it. After 5 years, after so many disappointments, after so much quiet wishing, he finally listened. I placed the bouquet on the table, took pictures from every angle, smelled each rose like a sommelier judging wine. Then I noticed the card, a small white envelope tucked among the roses. Of course, the final touch. I recognized the handwriting instantly. Rodrigo's handwriting is distinctive, like someone wrote while riding a motorcycle across cobblestones. My smile grew. I opened it, and then my world tilted. A drop, a plunge, a void. Inside the card, "To my eternal sunlight, happy 2-year anniversary. Thank you for brightening my life. Love you forever. Rodrigo, 2-year anniversary. Sunlight forever." Rodrigo, I read it again, then again. No matter how many times I blinked, the words didn't rearrange themselves into something innocent. It wasn't my name, it wasn't our date, it wasn't my nickname. He had never called me sunlight, sunshine, or anything remotely luminous. My nickname for 5 years had been "Hey, or can you grab something for me?" But this card belonged to a woman who was loved, a woman who wasn't me. I sat down slowly, bouquet still in my hands, and the teddy bear? That traitor stared at me with shiny plastic eyes as if to say, "Girl, listen, I just work here." In that moment, something inside me cracked, but something else, something stronger, woke up. Because while the truth hurt, the rage, the clarity, the power, oh, that felt electric. A bouquet meant for another woman had landed in my hands, and I decided right there, if life was going to hand me a betrayal wrapped in roses, I was going to hand it back wrapped in revenge. When the card told the truth, I stared at the card as if it might change if I blinked hard enough, as if the universe would suddenly apologize and swap the names back to reality. But no matter how many times I read it, the words stayed the same: to my eternal sunlight. Not me. Happy 2-year anniversary. Not us. Love you forever. Definitely not addressed to the woman eating bread out of a bag in a stained pajama. 5 years together, and not once did Rodrigo call me anything remotely poetic. No sunlight, no eternal anything. The closest I ever got to a romantic nickname was when he once called me boss because I paid the electric. And yet here he was, Shakespeare in a flower shop for someone else. I sank onto the couch, bouquet heavy in my arms. My thoughts raced. Was he really this sloppy? Had he really been cheating long enough to have a 2-year anniversary with another woman? Another life? Another romantic identity? And more importantly, he ordered roses. Roses. The thing I begged for, hinted at, dreamed of. He said flowers were a waste of money. He said love isn't about gestures. He said flowers die, so what's the point? Apparently the point was Jessica, because suddenly he was the CEO of Romance LLC. I looked at the roses. They weren't guilty. They were gorgeous, but they were also evidence. Evidence that my marriage had ended long before I realized. Evidence that while I begged for scraps, he gave banquets to someone else. I stood up, slowly, deliberately, placed the bouquet in the center of the dining table like a witness waiting to be interrogated, and then clarity. Not the peaceful kind, the electric, vengeful kind. I wiped my eyes, straightened my shoulders, and whispered to myself, fine. If this story wants a villain, I'll give it one he never saw coming. But first, step 1 of revenge, a photo. Nothing says plot twists like a badly timed Instagram post. I walked to the bedroom, threw open my closet, and transformed. 20 minutes later, I emerged a completely different woman. Hair down, lipstick on, dress that said I am stunning and also dangerous. I picked up the bouquet, stared right into the mirror, and smiled. Not my usual smile, no softness, no hope. A smile with teeth. Then I took a picture. Perfect lighting, perfect angle, bouquet displayed like a trophy. Posted it to my story. When life surprises you. I added a song too. Something dramatic. Something that would make Rodrigo sweat through his shirt at work. It took him only 3 minutes to view it. My phone lit up with his name. Twice, 3 times. I declined every call. Let him panic. Let him wonder. Let him stew in the delicious realization that his mistress's bouquet was now on his wife's social media, publicly celebrating a romance he hadn't intended. Then I did something even better. I grabbed my laptop, opened a new document, and started typing. Not angry rambling. Not tear-stained journaling. A plan. Because revenge isn't about screaming or breaking things or burning bridges. Real revenge is strategic, elegant, devastating. And I was about to orchestrate a masterpiece. The face of a man caught by flowers, 7 o'clock, 7:10. Then, like a nervous heartbeat, I heard the keys in the lock. The door creaked open. Rodrigo walked in, and time slowed. His eyes went first to me, dressed up, calm, composed, then to the bouquet. His soul left his body for a second. I swear I saw it hovering above us, whispering, "Bro, you're done." His face went through 7 emotional stages in 3 seconds. Confusion gives recognition, gives denial, gives fear, gives panic, gives regret, gives existential crisis. He opened his mouth. Nothing came out. I uncrossed my legs, took a sip of wine, and said, "Roses, huh?" He swallowed so hard I heard it. Yeah. I wanted to surprise you." I smiled softly. "With the wrong name on the card?" They froze. I leaned forward, voice gentle, sweet, deadly. "Tell me, Rodrigo, who's your eternal sunlight?" And just like that, the performance began. He stammered through the worst lies I'd ever heard. A friend named Bruno, a mix-up at the florist, an honest mistake. I let him dig, deeper and deeper, until finally, cornered, defeated, he whispered, "Her name is Jessica." Of course. There's always a Jessica. And how long has this been going on? He hesitated so long I thought he might pass out. 2 years, he finally whispered. 2 years. 2 years of lies, smiles, normal mornings. I love us, dinners, laundry, birthday cakes, holidays, shared beds. I stared at him. He stared at the floor. And for the first time, I didn't feel sad. I felt awake, wide awake. I let a cold, quiet smile spread across my face. "Well," I said softly, "good. Now we're finally telling the truth." He reached out for my hand, desperation in his eyes. "Baby, please." I pulled my hand away so fast he flinched. "Don't," I whispered. "Don't you dare baby me ever again." Then I stood, walked to the bedroom, and returned with a suitcase. His suitcase, already packed. His eyes widened. You're kicking me out?" "No," I said calmly. "I'm removing dead weight." I opened the door, gestured outside. He stood there frozen as if waiting for me to change my mind. I didn't. "Go," I said. Not angry, not sad, just done. He left. The door closed. And I stood there in my quiet apartment surrounded by roses meant for another woman, but something was different now. They were mine, not as a gift of love, but as evidence. Evidence that fate has a sense of humor. Evidence that betrayal sometimes arrives in a ribbon. Evidence that a woman, when pushed to the edge of heartbreak, discovers the sharp edge of her power, meeting the sunlight. But here's the thing about revenge. It's never complete until the other woman knows too. I wasn't going to scream at her. I wasn't going to fight over a man who wasn't worth the energy. I was going to do something better. I was going to give her the truth. It took me 2 days to find her Instagram. Jessica Costa, Arshabai years old, marketing analyst. Posted gym selfies and motivational quotes about choosing yourself. Ironic. Her profile was public. Her latest post? A mirror selfie with the caption, "Feeling blessed," posted the same day the flowers were supposed to arrive. She didn't get them, and she had no idea why. I stared at her smiling face for a long time. Part of me wanted to hate her, but honestly, she didn't know. He lied to her too. So I sent her a message, not angry, not bitter, just factual. "Hi, Jessica. You don't know me, but I think we should talk. It's about Rodrigo and the flowers he accidentally sent to my house, the one we've shared for 5 years. I'm his wife. I'm attaching the card and the receipt. I think you deserve to know the truth as much as I did." I attached screenshots, the card, his confession texts, everything. Then I hit send, and I waited. 3 hours later, she replied, "What?" Then he told me he was divorced. Of course he did. He said his ex-wife was crazy and that's why he didn't talk about her. I almost laughed. We talked for over an hour, comparing stories, timelines, lies. Turns out he told her I was controlling, told her I didn't understand him, told her he was just waiting for the right moment to finalize the divorce. There was no divorce. There was just him living 2 lives, badly. At the end of our conversation, she wrote, "I'm so sorry, I had no idea. He's a coward." I wrote back, "Yes, but now we both know." And that's power. She blocked him that night. I heard later through Carol, who heard from a friend of a friend, that she showed up at his mother's house and threw his own flowers at him in the driveway. Poetic justice. The woman in the mirror. 3 weeks after the bouquet disaster, I woke up different. I didn't think of him first. I didn't check my phone hoping for an apology. I didn't cry in the shower. I just woke up. I made coffee the way I liked it. I opened the windows. I played music. I cleaned the apartment like I was wiping him out of every corner. And when I was done, I stood in the middle of the living room, hands on hips, breathing deeply. This was my home again, my life again. That afternoon, I did something I'd been avoiding. I went to a hair salon. Not because I needed a change to get over him, but because I wanted to see me again. The stylist, a woman named Fernanda with purple hair and kind eyes, studied me carefully. "What are we doing today?" she asked. I exhaled. "I want to look like myself again." She smiled. "Let's find her." When she spun the chair around, I didn't recognize myself in the best way possible. Shorter hair, lighter, freer. I looked like a woman who knew her worth, because I did. Revenge blooms quietly 2 months later. I was at a cafe, the kind I'd always wanted to visit but never could, because Rodrigo didn't like places with little chairs. I was reading, alone, content. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "Hey, it's Rodrigo. Can we talk?" I stared at it for a long time. Once upon a time, that message would have destroyed me, would have sent me spiraling, would have made me wonder if I made a mistake. But now I felt nothing. Not anger, not sadness, not even satisfaction. Just peace. I typed back, "No, I'm exactly where I need to be. And you're exactly where you deserve to be. Goodbye, Rodrigo." Then I blocked the number. I put my phone down, took a sip of my cappuccino, and smiled. Not because I won, but because I realized something. The best revenge isn't making him regret losing you. The best revenge is building a life so beautiful you forget he was ever in it. 6 months later, I moved into a new apartment. Brighter, bigger, mine. On the day I moved in, I bought myself something. A giant bouquet of red roses. Not because I needed a man to give them to me, but because I wanted them. I placed them on my new kitchen table, poured myself a glass of wine, and stood back. They were perfect. And this time, they were exactly where they belonged. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe to Stories We Tell, leave a like, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Your support helps us keep creating stories about love, resilience, and second chances, because stories that touch the heart deserve to be told and remembered. Thank you for being here.